August is a great time to be outdoors, but there are safety tips to keep in mind when you're out there in the summer heat. And here with some tips about that is Orange County Fire Authority's Captain Colin Crowley. Thank you for joining us, Captain.
Thanks for having me, sir.
So August is, one of our typical hot. September, even October can really be hot times. It can be kind of deceiving for folks to come out here on vacation and something like that. How often are you guys responding to emergencies that are maybe hiking or heat related or something like that?
We actually respond quite often to them. For example, it's pretty much a daily occurrence for us. Obviously, the weekends are going to be more frequent. But for a little example, July, we responded to over 40 heat-related emergencies and over 20 remote rescues within the county.
Now, younger children in our community here, older adults, are a little bit more susceptible to heat exhaustion, things like that. Is it simply because they're more susceptible to dehydration and things like that?
I think as we get older, especially, our body doesn't respond to the heat changes, isn't able to compensate as well. So that's one of the biggest issues. So
are the communities like this kind of the most vulnerable in terms of dealing with heat and extreme colds and extreme heat?
Definitely, yeah. We see it more in older communities and then in younger children as well.
Okay. Some practices, you guys send us some slides. What are some of the best practices in terms of I'm getting ready for go out on a hike and I'm going to do a couple things like sunscreen is an important one, right?
Definitely, sunscreen always. So we're going to recommend that you do go out and enjoy the various outdoor activities Orange County has to offer, lots of hiking and biking trails. We want you to dress appropriately, good appropriate footwear, long pants, layer if possible. You never know when the weather's going to change. We want you to drink lots of water before, during, and after whatever the activity is. Bring a backpack so you can put those clothes into it. Bring snacks, extra waters, a cell phone that's fully charged if you're going to be out for a long period of time. Any medication you may need should you get stuck outside. And then, have that sunscreen ready because it does get hot and you don't want to get stuck outside and have that sunburn later.
Now, when we think of August, we think of something like, hey, I don't want to wear a big coat. I don't want to wear long sleeves. I don't want to wear a big hat. I want to be out in the sun kind of thing. But that can be one of the things that can really get to folks, right?
Yeah, definitely. A sunburn can be just as big of a medical emergency as a heat-related illness might be. We'll see it later on, but first and second degree sunburns can definitely be painful to deal with later on.
And I've heard, just from anecdotally watching the news, so many hikers get stuck and their cell phone died. They couldn't call for an emergency. It's like, how important is it, even if you're just going for what you think is a short little hike, to make sure you have full charges on those?
Yeah, always be prepared. So ensure that you have that fully charged cell phone. We have the lithium-ion backup batteries that you can bring with you too as like a power bank to charge in case of an emergency. And if you are going to go out with a group, so that you have that buddy system with you, someone else with a cell phone, or at least let someone else know where you're going and when you plan to be back. So if you don't make that time frame, they know to get out and look for you.
And all the features on the phone now, you can push the whatever things that it kind of goes emergency SOS. So that's another option too. Like for people who are in real trouble, they can just go to that for an emergency.
Definitely, yeah. And we can use that to locate to a more precise location where you are via our dispatch center. And
that only works if the cell phone's charged all the way, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's an important one. What do you experience? What do you experience in an emergency during outdoor activities? What are some of the experiences you guys have kind of gone to and done rescues around here?
So around here we have Laguna Canyon and Aliso Canyon, a lot of hiking and biking trails back there. So we see a lot of remote rescues back there. Where we're utilizing our crews in off-road vehicles, hiking in to find the victims, and then our overhead air assets, our helicopters, OCFA and the Sheriff's Department both have rescue helicopters that we utilize. So we find a lot of heat illness, a lot of heat exhaustion where your body just is run out of water, and so you're tired, you're fatigued, dizzy, maybe a little nauseous, muscle cramps. You start to have that cool, pale skin, you look really sweaty, and it's just your body needs fluids now to work appropriately. We see a lot of injuries and traumas from falling, encounters with animals, things like that.
Yeah, up on the screen we have the heat exhaustion, heat stroke. What are the differences there? Can you walk us through some of those?
So heat exhaustion is going to be the first line, so that's when your body runs out of fluids and can't cool itself effectively. So you're going to be, like I said, sweaty, pale, fatigued, you start getting some muscle cramps, a little dizziness, and then stroke is going to be when it gets more extreme. Your body is no longer able to actively cool or heat itself. Your body temperature is going to rise up over 100 degrees. We're going to stop sweating. We're going to have red, dry, mottled skin. You're going to be very delirious, muscle cramps, possibly leading to seizures and unconsciousness, and that's a very serious emergency.
Okay. And so for folks who are like, if you're feeling those signs, what is the first thing you should do? Is it time to turn around, drink some water, cut the hike short? If you're going to do 5 miles, you're only 2 in. Is it one of those things where like people put themselves in trouble because they kind of push through stuff?
Yeah, we definitely want you to plan your hike accordingly within your abilities. But if you do start to experience these things, definitely get to a cool, safe place in some shade if possible. Drink plenty of fluids and start to actively cool yourself, whether that be a cold compress on the back of your neck or a wet towel to help cool your body down. And then get help. Ask a passerby or a friend to go get help. Maybe they can get a car to you to drive you out rather than hiking you out. And if all else fails, call 911. That's what we're here for, and we're equipped and capable of coming to the rescue in those types of emergencies.
Do we still have challenges with people going kind of off trail in the county and getting themselves in trouble where they're not sticking to the main routes and like, I can make it over here. I'm fine.
Definitely. We're an adventurous type of people, right? So people are always trying to blaze their own trails, go off trail. Maybe they're not so aware of their surroundings, or more than likely, we see a lot of people that are just overstepping their abilities and they try to push a little too hard, or it's peak heat hours and they're out there and it's just too hot and they're not prepared for that.
Do you find people sometimes like, well, I didn't want to call, I knew maybe there was a trouble, I thought there was a little problem, but I didn't really want to call 911. I didn't want to bother you guys. Do people kind of just take it too far until now they're really beyond the point of no return? Yeah,
we get that a lot. We get a lot of people that are embarrassed to call. They don't want to. There's no judgment from us. That's what we do. We signed up to do that, and we're happy to get out there and help you out. But activate early. That's what I have to say. Before it gets bad, you don't want to get yourself into a position that it's harder to get out of.
What are some of the, we went through some of the tips about when you're, how to prepare and those kinds of things. When you're on those hikes, what are some of when you start feeling those symptoms, like you said, find shade, get some water, do those things. What are some of the important things to not do? What are some of the don'ts that you hear people doing all the time? They did this anyway.
Yeah, don't try and push through it. That's the biggest one. Don't be afraid to call 911. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. That's just going to make the problem worse and make it harder for us to help you. Should
you also be checking ahead, like weather conditions and what the winds are doing and when the sunrise and sunset are going to be and things like that? Definitely, yeah. Be prepared. Plan out your trip accordingly and know what to expect or what could change while you're out there. You personally, when you go on a hike, and you enjoy the outdoors, I'm sure, on your days off and that kind of thing, what are some of the things you always make sure you have with you? Definitely, I love it. Sunscreen. I'm very fair-skinned. I burn very easily. Lots of sunscreen. That can drain you from the heat real quick, get sunburnt. And I drink a lot of water and bring a lot of water with me. More than anything else, having water and a charged cell phone with me when I'm out can get me out of anything. What are some of your favorite spots? Do you have places you like to go to? Laguna Canyon, I like to go hiking there with my father-in-law. I used to do that a lot early on, and then surfing. So there's always water there when I'm surfing. So. All right, Captain Crowley from the Orange County Fire Department Public Information Officer. I want to thank you very much for joining us. Make sure we follow those tips and go to OCFA.org for more information about all that and more. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for having me. When we come back, we'll be talking to the folks from the India Club about the big anniversary they're celebrating of their country's independence. Stay with us.